So, Chris, disappointing 6-3 loss here at the start of the season. Obviously, positive to take from that, but how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, not a happy man after the game. Through the game, very much an up and down performance. There was some good moments, like you said, but looking on it in reflection, it's in the first half. I felt our plan was well executed, high up the pitch, trying to get pressure on their back line, going high press and winning the ball off them several times. And arguably we should have punished them a little bit more in that regard. But to go in at half time 2-2 after giving them 2 goals in that first half. Don't get me wrong, they played some good stuff, but the 2 goals that they score comes from some big errors from us. Having a chat about how we can tweak certain things and how they were playing and how we can regain control. I felt coming out the second half that we were in a good place, and the way that again we executed a high press, winning the ball back, and Mikey scores a great goal off the back of winning it high, and that should have been the moment where we kick on. We get rewarded, we punish, and we recognise what kind of things we're doing to hurt the opposition. And it's almost the opposite. We've got ourselves in a position where leading in a position where we can win the game, and we completely dropped off, and it was worrying for me. And obviously we'll go back and look at the footage and try and identify areas where we can be more effective. But first and foremost, we just have to be willing to defend as we did last week. You kind of look at chalk and cheese defensively last week, the way we defended our box, made clearances and got bodies in the way, and it's frustrating and disappointing for everyone who's travelled here today and seen us get into a great position, play some good stuff, and go toe to toe with a very, very good side, But they were just able to keep their composure in moments of adversity. Going down to 10 men as well. They adapted. They sat in a little bit of shape and they picked us off. In the amount of times that last season we conceded on the counter, we've got to sort that out right here, right now. It's happened too many times in the past and too many times today. And we've just spoken to the players about getting into positions where we can go on and win the game. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, like I said, we'll look at it has to be better in those moments. It has to be.
Obviously, a couple of positives from today. Quite a few debuts, two goals from Rocky. Thoughts on the debut performances?
Yeah, he's lively. He's really, really lively. He knows where the goal is. He makes some cracking runs and he works his absolute socks off. It was his responsibility to set the press at times and galvanise us and get us on the front foot high up the pitch. And the two goals he scores is just fantastic finishes from a very capable centre forward. And he even creates the third. So it gives us confidence, gives us belief, because we needed that little bit more of a goal threat from our front line, and he certainly brings it. But he also brings that calming voice at times, and that is a huge positive. The way that we were creating opportunities for him, and he was causing problems, and the way he was able to link play and help us get up the pitch. But the worrying thing is that how loose we were in possession. In the first half, the amount of times we gave the ball away in our half, simple passes, and we're just taking our eye off it and not ensuring that it gets from A to B in the way it should be. There's areas for us to improve, but yeah, like you say, some positives for sure.
Just on a couple of the debuts today, there's quite a few of them. How do you think they all performed with the debutants?
Well, I'm pleased for the players that have made debuts. They've made an impact, but we have to reflect and say, look, to a man, everyone included, we have to be better. This league we know is tough, and there's some good sides in it that play some good football. There's good sides in it that play pragmatic football, and we need to be in a position where we don't go soft. And I felt in the closing, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we went a little bit soft again, and that's a concern, and it needs to be addressed. We've spoken to the players, and we've got to go straight into Tuesday on our home patch against a team that's just come down from a league up, and again it's going to be a tough test. But if we execute our plan and stick to our plan, I've got no concerns over the group of players, because they know the plan inside out. It's when we go a little bit off script that we come undone, and too many times in that second half we went a little bit off script, and whether it's overconfidence or thinking with the numerical advantage is just going to be a given. We just weren't clean, weren't good with the ball at times, and the way we defended on the counter was worrying. I said before the game to the players that transitions is going to be really key today. It could win us or lose us the game, and unfortunately it's killed us today, and we've lost the game because of it. And when you get in a position where you're in front away from home, we should be able to, like we did last week against Truro, be a little bit more organised, a little bit more resilient and robust, and that's the biggest disappointment for me is the way that we almost capitulated at times, and that will be addressed. And how we do that will be by looking at the footage and talking to individuals, but also taking that responsibility as a group of coaches to ensure that those messages get across, so that doesn't happen again.
Obviously on to Tuesday, as you say, Weymouth at home, tough test, obviously a big team coming down. What's going to be different from today going on to Tuesday to make sure we get the 3 points?
I think there'll be plenty of difference, obviously, with it being an evening game on grass as well. The pitch should be a little bit zippier, should play into our hands in terms of the way that we want to play a little bit more with the ball. But also there'll be a team that'll be desperate to bounce straight back up. You know, they'll look at this league as potentially, winnable. I would imagine they're one of the kind of 5-6 teams that are probably looking to try and win this league. And again, it'd be a good test, not just in the individual game, but how we can recover from such huge disappointment, such a low performance in the second half, and try and bounce back. There was times last season where we really bounced back well, and we've got to draw on those experiences, those moments. But it's our first game of the season at home on our patch, and we've got to make sure that this year our ground is a fortress, and it's somewhere where teams don't want to don't look forward to coming. They know that they're going to be under pressure. They know that they're going to have problems caused us. They're going to have to be athletic and physical, and that'll be something we're asking from the players is to be really dynamic, as we were today, out of possession, but just better in transition, but also with the ball being able to hurt the opposition by playing through them or around them, because we've got some joy today by playing a little bit in behind it when the opposition were trying to jump. So there'll be lots of things that we'll try and kind of get across, but having our identity, I think that seems that it can get us results, it can create us chances, but we have to be better defensively, and otherwise it's going to be a very, very long, hard season if we keep giving goals away that we have done today.